Some people get more unsettled by silence than by noise. Not because silence is empty, but because it finally lets them hear everything happening inside. The room gets quiet, and the mind gets louder. Old conversations return. Tiny details suddenly feel unfinished. You lie down to rest, and your body looks still. But inside, something keeps pacing the hallway. Nothing dramatic happened today. Still, your thoughts act like the day left fingerprints all over you. You answered messages, showed up, got through the hours. Then night came, and your brain kept sorting what your face had already survived. People often call this overthinking. But that word can feel too shallow for something that feels stitched into your whole nervous system. Because it is not always panic. Sometimes it is quiet scanning, quiet replaying, quiet emotional traffic that never fully stops. You can look calm in a room and still feel mentally crowded. You can smile, nod, and still be tracking 10 invisible things at once. That is why silence does not always feel peaceful. For some people, silence is when the backlog finally starts speaking. It is the joke someone made that felt slightly off. The change in someone's tone. The email that sounded normal but did not land that way. Your mind keeps touching these moments, like a tongue checks a sore tooth. Not to be dramatic, just to figure out what still feels unresolved. And the strange part is, other people often do not see any of this. They just see someone thoughtful, maybe a little tired, maybe a little distant. They do not see how much is being processed behind the eyes. They do not feel the quiet labor happening under your calm voice. Some people move through life with lighter filters. They notice what matters to them, then let the rest fall away. But if you are highly aware, very observant, or emotionally porous, more gets through. More tone, more tension, more subtext. That means your day is not only made of events, it is made of layers. A simple conversation is never just words. It is facial expression, pacing, pauses, energy shifts, what was said, and what almost got said. By the time the interaction ends, you are not only carrying the conversation, you are carrying your interpretation of it too. That is one reason mentally busy people feel tired, in ways sleep does not always fix. The fatigue is not just physical, it is accumulated processing. And processing does not always end when the moment ends. Sometimes it keeps running in the background long after everyone else has moved on. That is why a short social moment can leave a long internal echo. Not because you are weak, but because your mind does not skim life. It reads the fine print, even when you wish it would not. You may notice this most after being around other people. While you are with them, you seem fine. You talk, respond, stay present, and maybe even seem easygoing. Then they leave, and your whole system finally reveals the bill. The exhaustion shows up late. The noise shows up late. The need to be alone shows up late. This confuses people who think tiredness should be immediate, but sensitive minds often have delayed reactions. In the moment, you are busy functioning. Later, when the stimulation drops, the hidden impact catches up. It can happen after a dinner, a family visit, a meeting, even a pleasant coffee with someone you like. Nothing was terrible, yet something in you needs recovery. That recovery is not only from talking, it is from monitoring. You're noticing how they felt, how you came across, whether the conversation was flowing, whether anything needed smoothing out. That is work, even when it looks effortless. Some people are mentally busy because their minds are trying to stay ahead. They predict reactions, rehearse possibilities, and track emotional weather before it changes. That habit can make you seem mature. It can also make rest feel strangely unavailable. Because even in a quiet room, part of you is still anticipating, still adjusting, still keeping one eye on what might need your attention next. And when that becomes a lifestyle, silence does not feel like a break. It feels like unmasked reality. Now the inner tabs are visible, the emotional browser is full. A lot of this starts with sensitivity, but not the flimsy version people joke about. Real sensitivity is a high intake system. It means your brain and body register more before deciding what matters. It means you notice atmospheres other people walk straight through. You can feel when a room got colder emotionally. You can sense when someone says they are fine in a way that does not sound fine. You hear the sentence, but you also hear the strain under the sentence. That second layer is where a lot of your energy goes. The mind does not only think with words. It also thinks with tension, cues, impressions, and unfinished emotional signals. So when silence comes, all those half-processed signals have room to surface. The body slows down enough for the unfiled material to reach you. That is why the busiest part of your day might be bedtime. The lights are off, but the sorting begins. You remember how long it took someone to reply. You remember your own wording. You revisit a look on a face from 8 hours ago. None of this means you are irrational. It means your system hates loose ends more than it hates exhaustion. So it keeps working. It keeps trying to create certainty from fragments. And fragments are everywhere now. Half attention, mixed signals, emotional static, crowded rooms, bright screens, unfinished conversations, constant contact. For a deeply aware person, modern life can feel like too many open doors, too much enters, too little used cleanly. That is why some people wake up tired before the day even starts. Their mind did not fully stop. It only changed shifts. Sleep happened, but deep release did not. The body lay down, but the inner guard never fully clapped out. You see this in small moments. Standing in the kitchen with coffee, already feeling behind before anything difficult has happened. Sitting in the car for an extra minute before going inside. Not because you are lazy, but because transition itself takes energy. Walking into a grocery store and feeling your chest tighten a little. The lights, decisions, people, noise, movement, all asking something from your attention. Coming home after a normal day and dropping your keys like you just finished a performance. Because in a way you did. Some people spend energy doing. Others spend huge energy absorbing. Absorbing a tense mood at work. Absorbing the rushed pace of strangers. Absorbing the friend who says, "I'm okay," while clearly not being okay. Even when you are not trying to carry other people, your system still registers them. And what gets registered often needs somewhere to go. But if you never get enough real stillness, it stays in circulation. It keeps passing through your mind like laundry that never gets folded. This is why crowded days can create lonely nights. You finally get privacy, but privacy does not always mean peace. Now there is room to feel what got postponed, the sadness you brushed past, the irritation you minimized, the pressure you acted normal through. Mentally busy people are often experts at seeming composed. They know how to function while internally overloaded. That makes others underestimate their exhaustion. If you do not visibly fall apart, people assume the weight must not be that heavy. But hidden strain is still strain. Silent effort still costs the body. And there is another layer. Many mentally busy people are not only processing the present, they are also processing themselves in the present, how they sounded, how they were perceived, whether they missed something, whether they gave too much, whether they should have said less. So the mind becomes both actor and observer. You live the moment while also reviewing it from the ceiling. That split attention is exhausting. It steals rest from experiences that should have been simple. You may laugh with someone, then later dissect the laugh. You may enjoy dinner, then spend midnight wondering if you were too quiet. This is not vanity. It is vigilance mixed with self-awareness, and sometimes those two become hard to separate. The deeply aware person often thinks they are just being responsible, but constant self-monitoring can become a form of inner noise. It keeps the mind in motion. It keeps peace feeling conditional. And the hardest part is that this busyness can exist even in good lives. You can love your people, like your work, appreciate your home, and still feel mentally overfull. Because the issue is not always crisis. Sometimes the issue is volume. Too many impressions, too many subtleties, too many things landing deeper than they appear to land. That is why your tiredness can feel hard to explain. Nothing looks wrong enough to justify how worn out you feel. But invisible effort rarely looks dramatic from the outside. It looks like someone who is just tired and cannot fully explain why. Maybe you need more time alone than others. Maybe after a gathering, you do not want to talk, decide, or answer one more thing. That does not mean you hated the people. It means your system needs uncluttering before it can feel like itself again. Maybe you replay conversations in the dark because night removes distraction. Now the emotional sediment finally settles where you can see it. Maybe you feel other people's moods in your own body, not as magic, just as accumulated perception. A clipped tone makes your shoulders tighten. An uneasy silence follows you into the next room. Maybe you seem relaxed in public, but cannot fully exhale until your front door closes. Then the face softens. Then the real tiredness arrives. These are not random quirks. They are patterns of a mind that takes in a lot and releases slowly. And that slowness matters. Some nervous systems bounce back quickly. Others recover in long, quiet arcs. They need more blank space after stimulation, more softness after social effort, more time before the mind stops circling. This is where people can become unfair to themselves. They compare their recovery speed to someone with a completely different internal workload. Then they call themselves lazy, dramatic, antisocial, or bad at coping, when really they are trying to heal on a crowded schedule. Not every busy mind is wise. Not every exhausted person is deep. But some people truly are carrying more subtle information than others realize. Their tiredness is not imagined, it is cumulative. And it helps to say something honest here. This sensitivity is not automatically a gift just because it has beautiful parts. Yes, it can make you insightful. Yes, it can make you compassionate, perceptive, careful, and emotionally intelligent. But it can also cost you. It can make ordinary life feel louder than it looks. It can turn a normal week into a low-grade recovery process. It can make rest feel like something you have to earn, instead of something your body can simply enter. So the goal is not to romanticize exhaustion. The goal is to understand the price of unguarded awareness. Because once you name the real pattern, shame loses some of its grip. You stop moralizing what may actually be overload. You stop asking, why am I like this, in that harsh tone. You start asking, what exactly is my system carrying? That question changes everything. It moves you from self-judgment to accurate attention. Maybe what looks like laziness is depletion. Maybe what looks like distance is recovery. Maybe what looks like overthinking is a mind trying to metabolize too much with too little space. Maybe silence feels busy because it is finally honest. And honesty can be loud at first, especially if you have spent years pushing through your own signals. The body remembers what the personality tries to override. The mind keeps bringing it back until something is finally understood. So if silence feels mentally crowded, it does not always mean you are broken. It may mean your inner world is full of unprocessed detail. It may mean you feel more than you show. It may mean your calm exterior has been hiding a very expensive kind of awareness. There's nothing weak about needing longer to come back to yourself. Some people return quickly, others return deeply. And deep returns take time. They happen in quiet kitchens, slow mornings, dim bedrooms, parked cars, long showers, and unhurried walks. They happen when no one needs anything from you for a minute. When your mind stops performing and starts unclenching. That unclenching is not indulgent. For some people, it is maintenance. Because if you live with constant inner busyness, peace is not created by doing more. It begins when your system finally believes it can stop scanning. That is why being understood matters so much. Sometimes the mind quiets a little when it no longer has to explain itself. And maybe that is the part no one told you. You are not always tired because you're doing life wrong. You may be tired because you are living with unusual depth in a world that rewards speed, noise, and quick recovery. You notice more. You carry more. So when silence feels busy, listen closely. It may not be emptiness failing you. It may be your inner world asking, with remarkable honesty, for the kind of rest that reaches deeper than sleep.